Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 630 9th Street here in Lake Oswego. We're located in the basement of the home. Just behind the water heater, we have a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running up ahead. Here we go. Alright, just transitioned over to cast iron pipe, 4-inch cast iron. Alright, transitions here at about 17 feet over to 4-inch concrete pipe. Looks like we have you look right on the left side of the screen there. I think we may have a hole there in the pipe. You can kind of see a space there. It's hard to tell. Sometimes you can get debris that will sit over the top of stuff and kind of make it look like a hole. We'll take a look at that on the way back out. Now we also have some kind of little black strand running away from that too. We may have a root coming through there. Alright, here at 24 feet, I'm going to try and locate this to see where it's at. This does appear to be a external cleanout. The cleanout I'm going through right now is incredibly awkward, so I think we're going to try and move to that one. And we do have a fairly offset joint here. It looks like it's sunk by about an inch. So I do recommend that be corrected. I'll mark that on the outside of the house with white paint. You can tell it's sunk once you drop into this PVC pipe here. The camera dives underwater as it's settling. Yeah, located this in the backyard area, just barely past the concrete patio. We're going to uncover the cleanout here and move to that spot, but I will put a white marking here. I recommend a spot repair to correct that offset. Alrighty, well, I apologize for leaving the recorder running as long as I did there. I did find the external clean out here. Again, I recommend, I'll put a white X marking right next to the clean out. This is going to be probably right up against the edge of the concrete patio area, and the locator out there was indicating right around 8 feet deep, so it's down there a ways. We're going to move out there and continue the scope. Yeah, when I come up on that there, it looks like we do have a hole in that joint. Now, I will put a X marking outside right where this particular spot is at. I do recommend a repair there. This is going to probably be under concrete, though I recommend looking into a pipe liner. Yeah, you can hopefully avoid digging up the line. I was able to get a rough locate put down on the concrete in the back patio. I'm getting some kind of wonky depths. It's bouncing around between about 9 and 13 feet. Part of that's due to the concrete and then the line being quite deep there in the backyard. So use some caution. I put a white X on the ground. I'm consistently getting that spot in as far as the locate goes. The depth, however, is bouncing around a bit. So use some caution. But I would recommend trying to get this done by pipe liner, so you don't have to dig the line up. But we definitely have a hole there right at that transition joint. And it looks like possibly a root. It's kind of an odd spot for a root to get to, but it looks like there's some kind of strand of something protruding from that pipe joint. Alright, we've moved outside here in the backyard area. So here's our clean out down this little hole here. It's just beyond the concrete patio. And directly behind us, the line is coming out pretty much straight from that foundation or a window well there. And if you go just inside the house, there's a clean out just inside the foundation as well. Anyway, this is where the line's coming out. I was having difficulty getting a depth here, but was consistently getting that locate spot. So I put a marking there. That's where that hole is at in the concrete pipe. Right here is where we ran into just before this, pretty much right at the concrete edge, is where that joint has become offset. We've got water running again here. I'm probably going to write this report in a way that basically we scope the entire thing from that original point of access, just to make it a little easier. And just past the clean out here, it does transition back, it looks like, over to 4-inch ABS plastic. And this may actually be concrete pipe. I've got a really bad light glare from the sun right now on my screen. It's kind of hard to see the color of the pipe. When it's all drained out, we should have a better look at everything. And it looks like a lot of this pipe here has done some settling. When I first came out to look for this clean out here, it was very obvious where the clean out was at, because this about 2-3 foot section which spans that clean out, or that PVC section, the ground was visibly sunken by about a foot here, which the line itself didn't sink that much, but it was very obvious that's what had happened. And whatever we've got going on up here, we've got either a major blockage or we just have one really bad belly here in the line. And this right here appears to be the terminus of the line, as best I can tell here. That looks like the T connection to the main. So I'm going to do locates. It looks like the line, I think there's an alleyway here to the rear of the house. Appears to be the direction it's going. It just pretty much does a dead straight shot from the back of the house all the way to the rear of the property. We're going to let the line drain out here for a few minutes. I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to see everything on the way back. There's a lot of junk built up in the line. Alright, I did locate the camera head successfully in the rear alleyway. I put a white T marking out there. It's a dusty road, so that hopefully that paint lasts. I'm picking the camera head up out here about 13 feet 6 inches to 14 feet deep. I've just put 13 feet out there. But this is the reason I've marked that. This is right where the belly dissipates out, or the standing water does, where it finally pops out. So, given the fact we've got slope and grade issues essentially from the very get-go, or at least from the new pipe, I recommend a full replacement of the sewer line here. We'll see how it looks on the way back. If we've got standing water like that, that will be my recommendation. If it turns out we just have major debris buildup and that's what's damming the line up, then it may just need some drain cleaning performed. But there was quite a lot of water in there, and I did not run the camera through any, at least that I could tell, solid blockages in the line. Alright, the line is pretty much all drained out at this point here. There's a tiny bit trickling off. We're going to go ahead and start reeling back. But yeah, immediately once you come back from that connection to the main, we're right into about 1 inch of standing water here. I'm kind of going kind of slow here just to watch what the water's doing. Alright, my camera just about got stuck on something there. Yeah, it looks like we've got a broken backflow valve in the line there. At least that's what it looks like. That, or it's a knockout plate or something. I'm not going to try and put my camera back through that thing, because it literally just about got stuck. Yeah, that does appear to be a backflow valve, and it's got a piece missing from it. So anyway, I'll go try and locate this. I went and located this. This is right up against the rear fence line here. It looks like, as best I can tell, on the street side. And I think someone may have flushed the toilet there just a moment ago. And with that backflow valve having a big old hole in it there, sometimes backflows that don't operate properly will let water really slowly flow. But that having a hole in it there, I don't really want to put my camera back through it because it just about got stuck last time on that cutout. And if we dislodge it, that can turn into a much bigger issue there. Anyway, it does appear that all that water beyond the backflow was indeed standing water, not just it draining out really slowly. Alright, I'm getting some very consistent, some very odd depths here. That there was just bouncing between 10 and 14 feet. So I do recommend calling for locates to have the depths double checked. It looks like it's quite deep, but there's so many overhead power lines directly over the top of this sewer line here. It's entirely possible that I could actually be picking up on power lines. The sewer line literally runs directly beneath 2 lines running across the yard here. So definitely call for locates and double check all that, because the locator can actually become confused off of frequencies being emitted by power lines. And this one there's two of them literally running directly over the top where this line's going. Yeah, this whole pipe here has settled pretty significantly. It's consistently across most of the pipe here. We've got about an inch of standing water. Like right here, it's draining out okay. It just kind of keeps going in and out of bellies. Yeah, put a marking here just in the event that we've got two large separations between the bellies. This first part of the belly here has got less standing water in it. It's sitting more around 1/4 of an inch. And we are actually just right out from the clean out. I've had to move the camera reel back into the shade here, so the footage is going to be off by a little bit. And we are just past the clean out here. Anyway, just beyond the clean out is where the standing water starts at. We've got a hole underneath the concrete at the transition from cast iron to concrete. Right at the edge of the pad, we have about an inch offset where the concrete meets the PVC pipe, where the clean out's at, basically, or directly underneath that. It's also caused some standing water there, and you have a compromised joint in a yard with some very large trees. On top of that, the standing water will catch debris. You can see right here stuff hung up in that. And then once you get just a few feet beyond this, we've got about a 15-foot belly that's got about 1/4 inch or so of standing water in it, which granted is not significant. The problem is just beyond that we have, you have about a 10-foot separation, and then the rest of the line has got about an inch of standing water in it. So we have major settling that's occurred across the entire sewer line, and all that stuff put together, I would recommend a full replacement of the exterior line here. There's enough issues going on that to spot repair it, in my opinion, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You've got an issue starting just, maybe 4 feet out, 5 feet out from the rear foundation, and multiple issues from that point all the way out to the main lateral connection. So anyway, for those reasons, I do recommend a full replacement of the line. Get this thing totally updated. But anyway, as far as depths go, because of the overhead power lines here, and I'll kind of show those over the top of the camera, I can tell just by watching the locator that it's having a hard time picking between the two. It'll all of a sudden jump around 4 to 6 feet in depth. Or at least a change like that, it'll go from about 10 to 14 or 15 feet all of a sudden. So anyhow, I do recommend having or calling for locates to have all this stuff double checked. There's our power lines running right over the top of where the sewer line is at right here. I'm pointing straight down line. I'm getting a depth right here underneath the concrete at almost 10 feet deep, which seems extremely deep for coming just out of the basement. It's possible, but that's what concerns me, is I'm getting some pretty deep depths here, and then they're all of a sudden bouncing to shallow depths. So my signal was moving around, so I know that the locates are going to be fairly accurate. The depths, though, I am not comfortable with just digging that thing up the way it sits. So recommend a full replacement of essentially all of the external sewer pipe here. We have just an overview, a hole in the concrete pipe right at the transition from cast to concrete. We have an offset joint at the external cleanout here just as the concrete meets the yard. We've got 2 significant bellies in the line, and we have a broken backflow valve as well. So a lot of different stuff going on there. I would recommend a rescope after the repair work is done to ensure it has been done properly.